The Pan-African Congress and the Azanian People's Organization are considering joining forces ahead of next year's elections after the parties held a summit in Johannesburg this weekend. Let's get an update on those discussions. Bring in the PAC Secretary for Finance, Jaki Seroke. A very good evening to you, Jaki. Grateful for your time. So what was concluded at these meetings this weekend? What have you decided?
Look, both organizations have a history of working together. So the obvious decision is to continue to beef up that camaraderie, the comradeship, and the partnership, and consolidate it into something much more stronger. The intention is to establish traction with the electorate, and we want to test 2024 for that purpose.
But how would you then continue to work together to do that when you consider that neither party is doing very well, shall we say, in terms of electoral support and representation in key areas such as the National Assembly? Jaki, can you hear me?
The intentions of the PAC's intention and that of Azapo is to establish a renewal, to reinvent ourselves, and also to work closely with the masses, with constituencies, so that we have a firm base and we can take that to the polls with us. In the past, we have failed to do this largely because the elections are a heavy expense and we have not had any real backup for that. But we are working on combining strategies and using our strong points. And our strong points really is our history in the struggle and the message that we bring to voters, to the electorate. And we think we will be able to do far the last time. There are no distractions. There are no side issues that are taking us away from putting our message across to the voters. We believe this is the right time. The political paradigm has shifted in our favor, we think.
You speak of your strong points, including your history in the fight for South Africa's liberation, and indeed the PAC was involved. Previous leaders of the organization have complained that the ANC-led government has tried to suppress attention and conversation around the PAC's involvement in the fight for this country's liberation. But to date, very few people actually know about the extent of the work of the PAC, and even where the ANC is concerned, people are getting to a point where they no longer care about what was done 20, 30, 40 years ago, but want to know what you will do now. So when you speak of reinvention, how do you reinvent?
Look, with our experience, our more than 60-year experience in the struggle and involvement in politics, we most certainly know how to entrench ourselves in communities. What we have failed to do is to package our message properly for the voters. In the current period, I mean, you may have noticed that the images of Steve Biko, the images of Sobukwe are gaining ground with young people. They realize that their history has been suppressed and to a certain extent distorted, and lies have been told. So there's a warming up to the ideas of black consciousness and Pan-Africanism. And I refer here to movements like the Fees Must Fall and many others. So we will expand this niche market, expand it politically, and get into communities and mass-based organizations like business, the rural communities, the workers, and generally identify a constituency that aligns with our thought processes.
But have you not fallen too far behind to recover? I mean, you look at the 2019 general election results, you look at where the PAC was, 0.19% of the vote. Azapo, who you want to work with, were even lower, 0.07% of overall votes cast in the 2019 election. So you guys would basically be coming from rock bottom.
We were encumbered with other things that are not necessarily related to good performance at the polls.
You're referring to the infighting where the PAC is concerned, where you were fighting among yourselves.
There's been court cases, there's been other things other than a relationship with the voters. Our political voice has never been heard, despite the fact that the organizations are unbanked and so on. This monkey on our back will have to fall off. And we are focusing on the action that we need to make in order for the voters to listen to us and to take us very seriously. In some quarters, we are very happy that in some quarters, people are realizing that the June 16 movement, the uprisings that came up from June 16, the Shabelle massacre in 1960, all of those are as a result of the PAC. So a range of the demographics of the voters, from the old people to the young, are beginning to see the importance of this. We will package our message very well. We'll modernize. We'll use all available instruments to get our message across and hopefully come up with better results at the polls. You
reference a lot about what was done by these movements, Azapo and the PAC, in the decades where we were fighting for the liberation of this country and the black majority. But that's not translating among South Africans who are alive and witnessed PAC and Azapo at their most vibrant. Why would a young South African who doesn't even know what the PAC is today want to take that route when you consider that there are more vibrant voices targeting young people in South Africa today? For example, the EFF has taken the position of fighting for a pro-black agenda in today's mainstream politics.
Yes, there's always a way in which we can segment the market and show where the PAC will go to. I think the whole issue of land, of sovereignty of the country, the whole issue of a stable, growing economy that benefits the majority of the people, all these things will have to be outlined from the perspective of the Azanian Front. And in that, we will be able to target particular audiences. And we're going to use all available instruments to do this. We've started with the cause, and we believe that with our niche amount of support, and with the fact that some of the political parties you are referring to are using our own message,